Well, good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome back to another episode of Trap Lines and Inlines. We're up at Bush Camp here again today. Gonna stay a few days up here in the north here, and today is episode 2 of the chicken coop build here. In episode 1, we built the floor and skids and rock foundation for the chicken coop, and today we're gonna be framing the walls. We're gonna be framing out some windows, chicken coop entrance, or a chicken entrance, and a big door there for us to get through there. So it's going to be a pretty exciting episode. I'll go in great detail. Like I said, my goal for this series is for the viewers to be able to build this exact same chicken coop that I'm building here today. So stay tuned and we'll get right to business here, boys. Okay, we're just joining up the first frame here, the outskirts of the frame. You want to use really nice boards, like to really pick through the pile and find my nicest, straightest boards to use on the perimeter of the frame, because these are the most important to have straight boards on there. This first wall we're doing is a really simple wall. It's got nothing on it. It's going right here on the right hand side from the back. And it is 89 inches wide, and I'm using the 92 5/8 stud length 2x4, so I don't have to cut them, and I run them right to the top and bottom of my 89-inch board that goes across. Now this is an 8-foot structure, but this wall is gonna be 89 inches in width, and then there'll be 3.5 inches on each other side where the other wall comes to, and we'll join them up there. So it'll make more sense when I show you it and when we're putting things together, but stay tuned, it's getting exciting. Hey, it's very important to make sure that when you join these up here, they're nice and straight and in line and nice and flush. Just to make sure that your frame is nice and square, I'm using 3-inch spiral framing nails. And there you go. Okay, let's start running our studs. Okay, now we're running studs 16 inches on center. So we're measuring from the outside of the board, 16, 32, 48, 64, 80, where's 80? Yeah, here, and that'll be it. See, this distance is going to be shorter. It's not going to be 16 inches on center, of course, but that's perfectly fine. Now, once I've drawn my little markings here, I like to take my speed square. You don't have to do this, a little excessive. Pardon me here a sec. I like to take my speed square and draw nice lines so I can get things really nice and straight there. So when I make this mark, I'm measuring it on center, and I measured from the outside of that board. So on this line, I'll put the board here with this edge line up right with here, eh? So that's how we'll do that. We'll mark both sides, the exact same measurements, and so we can line them up on both ends, of course. Now that our floor is built, we got a real nice flat surface to do all our building from, which is really, really nice. It just makes things a hell of a lot easier, eh? So line all these boards up, making sure all of our studs go in right where they're supposed to be, and good and flush along the edges. Now, your board should just be, like, it should be a little loose, but it should be hitting the wood. If it's too firm and you have to force it in there, or you have a significant gap here, then you've done something wrong and you got to go back and fix it. This is going to be pretty high walls for a chicken coop, but we'll have lots of room for nice roofs and whatnot, and building the chicken coop a little bigger than the amount of chickens that I have gives me an excuse to go buy some more. So Okay, there you have it. Quick and easy wall build there. The camera says it took 8 minutes. That's pretty darn quick. I thought I would start off with our simplest wall first, show you the real basics for anyone who might be a little newer to the game, and try and get into detail here. But real quick and easy wall. It's going up over here, like I say. And yeah, so we'll lift it up like this. This isn't just not even an 8-foot wall right now. Like it's, you can do bicep curls here. So I don't need, I'll just lift it right up there. And you see, I wanted to put these nice light walls up first, and then it'd be easier to put on my 12-footers. So what I'll do here is mark 3.5 inches on either side where the next wall is gonna sit, and line it up to those marks. So I'll mark 3.5 here on both sides and line them up so that when I put in my big 12-foot wall, which will be harder to lift up, it'll be easier and line up real nice. I always like to get a couple nails started here before I start lifting. It makes your job a hell of a lot easier. Like I say, this is a really light wall. There's no problem at all to move around. Really take the time here to level things up real nice there. Yeah, that's looking good, so I'll start that one. And then, yeah, perfect. Lined right up to my marks. That's awesome. And line it up with both edges. I shouldn't have actually drove those nails all the way in. And I'll just leave it tacked here. Just put a couple nails through it just to hold it there. Because you don't want to nail it all in right away here, because there is the off chance that we will have to move it just a smidgen here and there, eh? So we don't want to bolt it all the way in quite yet. Okay, now I think it's going to be best if I put this back wall on here now, and then attach it to this wall, and should keep things the most easily accessible that way. So in order to, this back wall is going to be 144 inches or 12 feet, so it'll span the whole distance, of course. And in order to make plywood easy, it's actually going to use the exact same stud distances that we use for the floor, because it basically is the exact same wall except just 4 inches shorter, eh? So I'll time lapse this build for you here of this back wall. It's following the exact same basic principles that we used on this side wall, and I will put all the stud measurements on the screen for you guys during the time lapse. Okay, well, apologies here, boys and girls. My camera died there, but I can imagine you guys are about sick of watching me play studs anyway here, but got her all framed up here, ready to go. Now I'm gonna lift this wall up here and place it now, and I actually made a mistake. I should have done my 12-foot walls first, built both of them, and then just drug them off to the side, because now my ends are hanging off the side, and it doesn't, it makes it a little trickier, eh? But not a big inconvenience at all, so we'll be fine. Let's put this wall in here, boy. Yeah, but even now it's still not bad for weight at all, really. And you know, once you get it stood up, it just stands there nice and flat if you got a nice straight wall to work with. Oh, son of a gun. That's looking pretty good, boys. Better hold on to that one, eh? Okay, and that lined up just perfect. Okay, so you see how I got her double boarded here at the end. The outside distance of this is 3.5 inches, so I space them 1/2 inch in between, and you'll get this too if you follow the stud distances there that I posted up there on the screen. But this is 1/2 inch between because these are each 1.5 inch wide. So that way, when you put your walls together, you can see it lines up perfect with this board, so you can nail it in on either end. You get a real nice and strong finish, eh? So that's why we're doing that, boys. Well, boys and girls, I got all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled out there yesterday, so I'm on some pretty heavy painkillers. I'm not even supposed to drive on these here painkillers. They're potent, I tell ya. They got me pretty damn loopy. So good thing I'm staying overnight, because they get into your head pretty damn silly there, boys. Okay, so we got yet another 12 foot by 92 and 5/8 inch frame, and this is going to be for the front. So how I've designed this, oh, it's so hard to see. I'm going to have a nice little flap here at the front for the chickens to go out through. And then I'm going to have 2 windows that are symmetrical from each other. And we'll show you how we put these in. It's better if I show you while I'm doing it than try and explain it off the paper. We're basically making all the exact same measurements as we have over here. And my windows are going to be 27.5 inches by 27.5 inches because they work out damn good that way. I'll show you all that as well. I have the money for windows right now, so I'll just be screening it off and have a flap there for the time being until I got the money for some windows. So we'll show you that in a future episode there as well. But I'll lay down all the measurements, which are exactly the same on the screen here for you, exactly the same as the last wall. But 2 of these measurements are going to be cripple studs and not full length studs, and I'll specify that here as well on the screen. So keeping it very simple and very straightforward here. So let's get to work. This wall will take the longest, be the heaviest to lift up, and but it'll be still plenty easy. So stay tuned, guys. Getting exciting. Okay, pardon the lighting. It's pretty sunny out here, boys. But here's how things are looking. You see, these are all the full-length studs we're using, and these 2 gaps right here and here. Dog, you're in the way of my shot, my boy. You get over here, my boy. Good boy. These are our king studs here between the gap we got going here. Now we're gonna have to make a few different measurements of cut on our 2x4s here to frame up these windows. Now these windows are identical, so I'll show you how to do all of that here on one. But in order to build these exact windows, and you can build them to whatever size you'd like, you need these cuts that I'll display on the screen right now. So we're gonna go ginch around, get all those pieces cut up. A lot of those are smaller pieces that I got some scrap from the cabin build I'll burn up, and we'll get it all put together here, and I'll show you how to do everything on your window framing. Okay, so I got one window framed here, and I'll show you how I did everything on the next one. You can see all the components there for the window, and this is the proper window framing structure you need for like a house window. Now if you're just putting screened openings, don't actually want to put in windows, you'd be fine, just run one board across. You know, if it sags, it sags, right? But if you're putting in real windows like I plan to eventually, it'll be real nice to get good circulation, whatnot, and be real nice to have real windows. But anyway, if you're doing what I'm doing, plan to put them in eventually or putting them in right away, then it's nice to just do things right, because it really don't cost you much. They're just real small pieces, just a little bit of time, and you can get her figured pretty darn good there, and then it might save you some headache. Okay, so let's get building this next one here for you guys. Okay, so I hope you can see everything there all right. Show you how to do this here window. So we'll start off with our great big 75.5 inches. These are jack studs. Okay, so before we get started here on placing our jack studs, we're gonna make a quick measurement at 43.5 inches. We'll mark that off, and you'll see why in a second. This will make things quite a bit easier on us. Now we take our 27.5 inches, and I should have a little bit of a better space to work on this. Line this 27.5 inch piece, the bottom of this board, to that mark we just made. And this is really gonna make it easier on us. Trust me. Now we take our other 27.5 incher, and we'll nail it in here too now. Just get them started here for the time being. It's kind of awkward where I'm working right now, but we'll get her done. Get them all started here. Now I'll put 3 nails in each board. This will be the bottom of the window where we're working here right now. That'll slide right in here. This one stud appears to be, see, that slides right in. That's the bottom of our window. So I like to nail a couple through the jack into the king stud. Just a couple for now. We'll come back to it. Making sure our ends are butted right up against the bottom. Save us some trouble. Okay, now it's time for our header, and our header rests directly against our jack stud, directly against the top. And instead of running the board like this, we flip it down and run it like this. Run them vertical, they're quite a bit stronger that way. So we'll put in our first one, and it sits right against the bottom. So if you're working on a nice flat surface, you just let it lay right on the ground. And we'll nail that one in. There's a few things here we'll come back to in a sec. We'll show you that later on. Now our next one, if we were to just put it right in there and drop it all the way down, it wouldn't be right. We want this one to be flush with the top. You want this to be a straight line, nice and flush here. So this one's in there pretty snug. Just tap it down here a little bit. So you should be able to hold your speed square right flush with it, eh? Yeah, perfect. Get it tacked in on both sides so it don't go anywhere. I hope you can see all right. Okay, now we'll just finish attaching the jack studs. So we'll nail the bottom ends in here. Fuck. Now I like to nail the jack stud right up to the king stud. And I find if you nail it from both sides, it's stronger and it ends up straighter, eh? And I'll do that the whole way up, just staggering the nails here. And that'll be real nice and solid then. Okay, so we're gonna put in our bottom stud here. It goes right in the middle. Remember how we marked the distance here. This is 16 on center from the king stud and directly in the center of the window. So we'll start by attaching this one to the bottom, because we're gonna have to angle nail this at the top, and we want it held at the bottom, makes it easier. Hope you can see all right. Okay, now I could have been a little more proactive and had this figured out so I didn't have to angle nail it, but it will be perfectly fine. Okay, to measure where this one needs to be, since we measured from this way on center, measure from the king stud and put it right at 16, and that looks like exactly right where it's sitting now. So this is kind of a pain. This is where it's nice to have a nail gun or be using a drill. But we'll... Okay, I didn't mean to hit that one right in yet, actually. When you're angle drilling these in, it tends to want to move the whole board with it. It's not quite as strong this way, eh? Just got to pull this one back a bit. Yeah, there we go. So we want to hold it nice in place and get it started, and then you get to a point where it wants to push the board over, and you start on the other side. Kind of counteract that bit, eh? Because we want her getting straight here. Okay, looking pretty darn good there. Now we'll put one through the top. Okay, awesome. That's our center one. Now all we got to do is our top 3 cripple studs. So stay tuned. Okay, now we take our 13 and 5/8 inch slices, and these are our cripple studs that attach from the top to the header. We'll put these ones in here on the side. Start by nailing them into the top. And there's 3 of these for each top of the window. For 2 windows, I mean. Put this one here in. See, it's loose in there. Just needed a persuasion tap. It's not that it's too big. So again, I have that same mark I had on the bottom on the top. to put this cripple stud right dead center of the window. That one's maybe 1/8 of an inch too big. Actually, no, see, it's loose in there now. Sometimes you just gotta give them a love tap to get them situated. My head's probably right in the way here now, I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna nail these side cripples right into the king stud. And we want this one centered up nice, it just looks good. So again, 16 on center from the king stud. Just gotta go right there. It's a little crooked there, but that's fine. Okay, looking awesome there, boys and girls. That's our finished product window. Exactly how it should look. Extremely sturdy and awesome. One more thing left to do on this wall and we're done. Okay, this is the last thing left on the door, or on this wall rather. So I wanted to have a little entranceway out the front for the main reason that you know, if someone was ever to get into the enclosure, like a bear, a wolf or something there, then that way the chickens could get in the small opening, but the big old bugger, he couldn't, so and I thought it'd be nice to have, so it's not gonna take anything at all to do either. So I got a thing for things being square, so we're gonna mark this at 16 inches from the bottom of the frame. So the actual opening is gonna be 14.5 inches. And then we'll just, when the time comes, we'll just put 2 little hinges here and then hang a little flat door there, kind of thing. So then this is a 14.5 inch board, which is the exact inside distance between your studs here. So we'll just get this lined up, and this will give us something to mount our little hinges to there. And you know, this way in the winter too, if it's a nice warm day, I could let them go outside for a bit without having the whole big door open that we're going to put on the sidewall here, which we're building next. You just can't go wrong, man. So there we go, our wall's all done now. Now all we gotta do is lift it up, and boy, is that gonna be a challenge, because she's one heavy wall. Whew, fucking right. Not too bad at all. Gonna get on the other side of it here though. Holy shit. Okay, that there is looking what I like to call pretty darn good enough. Okay. Yep, she's looking pretty darn good. Sorry, my truck's in the way here a little bit. Like I said, my nice little opening, just big enough for a bird. My 2 windows there. Nice and symmetrical. Good size too, I like the size of them. And they're perfectly square, I like square windows, huh? And now, I just got her tacked there, everything. So I'm gonna have my door here. which we'll frame out in a sec. Door here, open up. I'll have feeders probably in the middle or favoring this side a bit. The roost here, and then have a dropping pit off the side. Keeps it all away from everything. And then my nesting boxes over here probably. And then, yeah, it's gonna be deadly, man. Stay tuned. One more wall left. One more, boys. Okay, yet another 89-inch frame here. It'll be exact same as that one, of course. Just we're gonna frame in the door for this one. So here's where you need to mark your studs on this one. And we'll show you how to frame up the door here, and raise her up, and we'll be nearly done. Just got top plates left, and then yeah, and got to bolt her down from there, and then deadly. Stay tuned. Okay, here are 4 full-length studs on the door here. So this is 16-inch on center on either side on the outsides, and then this one had to be cut down a bit. And now we're gonna frame out the door. This is gonna be a 30-inch by 6-foot high door, which is plenty enough for a chicken coop. You know, man, the bigger your door gets, the less efficient and the less energy you lose on it. So let's get to framing this door here. Here are the cuts you're gonna need to frame the door. Okay, time to frame our door here, boys and girls. Should go nice and easy here. So I like to, on my jack studs here, which we're putting in, these are 6-foot jack studs. I like to nail them to the king first. Just get them 2 nails in there. And we will be building and installing a door for this here in a future episode. So stay tuned for that. And the reason I nail those in first is so now when I nail them to the bottom, they don't go anywhere. And you get them in there nice and snug. Otherwise it pushes it out and you got a gap between your nails and your stud there. Okay, now we'll take and put our header in. Exact same technique that we use on the, oh, I should flip that around. These studs, this stud here is warped is why it's snug. And I know that because it was my last half-ass board. These last few are pretty bad. So we'll nail this bottom header in first. Now for our top header, make sure it's nice and flush in there. Deadly. So we marked on the top here, and it was 17¼ inch off, which I know you're like, well, that's gonna be more than 16 inches. But once we put this board in here, it's just gonna be less than 16 inches and it'll be just perfect. So we'll mark 17¼ on the bottom to align the top one here. Okay, now we'll just install these headers. Let's get them lined up here in place. Or not headers, rather. These are cripple studs. Okay, so you see how this one's kind of rugged on the outside? It's better if we face that out. Then it'll cinch up nice and snug there to the other board like this. It's just better. So get this lined up here nice and flush. Oh, my custom tripod is there. That'll actually help. Okay, this is looking just awesome. Now we'll attach these sides together, just tack them in. Really help hold it sturdy and good. Mint. Perfect. Okay, now that you got everything tacked in pretty good, you can go around with a level. Make sure all your walls are good and plumb. Now, if you've done everything right here, they will all be perfectly plumb. I haven't touched these. That one's not perfect, but that one is. It's just a stud maybe. And you can see like we're lined up perfectly with their floor. And now we're good to nail it in because we know it's all good and plumb and everything. Okay, we'll just nail in this bit here. I've already got nails in it, but I really like to nail the piss out of these walls into the floor just to ensure that they don't go anywhere. Okay, now that I got this bottom bit nailed down, I'm going to put in another bottom plate here. Now this is 30 inches, yeah. Not only does this help strengthen up our door frame, but also in a chicken coop, you know, in the winter, those shavings, they pile up sky high. And it'll help opening and closing this door, having a little more of a ledge here for less shavings to block the door up. So it has its purpose for sure. We'll just nail this in here quick. Okay. Well, looking good here, boys and girls. I got the floor all nailed down, or the walls all nailed down, and the corners, nail those all together. I missed a couple up top there. I just nailed the piss out of them. Don't want them going anywhere, Okay, now all we got left is the top plates. And I like to overlap my top plates. So what I mean by that is this is an 89-inch wall, and it comes to here. And I'll overlap this top plate over top of this wall, and it helps hold everything together. And they're also very important to keep all your walls nice and straight, and really holds them together nice, strengthens them up nice there. So in order to do this for our top plates, we're gonna need 2 8-footers, exactly 8 footers for the sides of the chicken coop here. And then we're gonna need well, this is 12 foot minus 7, 2 at 11 foot 5 inches for the side ones here. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You just nail her down into the top of the wall and call her good. I'll show you here right away. Okay, I hope this helps illustrate what I mean by overlapping the top plates. You see this wall ends here, and I overlap it onto the next piece, and I find it just holds it together really nice that way. So I got some more nailing to do here, and then we're done. Stay tuned for the finished product. Gonna be deadly. Well, not a half bad day's work there, if I don't say so myself, boys and girls. Especially considering I've been half cut on painkillers all day. But here's how we're looking. Out the front, we got our 2 windows there, and the nice little chicken opening here. We'll latch that up, build a little door for that. I really like how those windows look, and then door over here. Yeah, everything really just came to shape, man. I'm really happy with how everything's looking. You can see my top plate up top there, looking nice. Headers turned out just dandy, and you know, everything's perfectly level and perfectly straight. And that's all I was left with for scrap for all the framing there. So looking pretty darn good, boys and girls. In the next episode, we will be likely building the roof there for the chicken coop here. It actually looks especially high because of how unlevel the ground is and how high I had to prop it up specifically on this side. But yeah, like I said, boys and girls, next episode we'll probably be working on building the roof or maybe sheathing there, plywood sheathing. We'll just have to see how it goes. This chicken coop is gonna run off solar power and is gonna have a rainwater collection system as well. So stick around. This is gonna be one exciting build. I'm real happy with how things are looking and excited to keep working on it here. But I'm out of, I was gonna stay the night here at bush camp, but I'm out of supplies, so I'm gonna head home and go back to work there tomorrow and save up some cash and keep dumping her into bush camp, man. If you want to watch episode 1 about the floor and skids and all the insulation vapor barrier in there we did on the floor, you'll be able to see that at the bottom corner here right away. And anyways, that looks like it and all for the framing the walls of the chicken coop there, guys. Thanks for watching another episode of Trap Lines and Inlines. If you want to check out the Trap Lines and Inlines merchandise and help support the channel so I can produce more and better content, or if you want to join the crew on Facebook for exclusive updates and group discussion and give me a message on there, whatever you want, man. So feel free to do so. The links for that is always in the bio there. Anyways, boys and girls, me and Wolf Dog, we're heading home. Catch you on the next one.